All right, here we go. Shalom, salama, siemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you all this morning. And for some, this afternoon. Normally, I do not um, come up on here, especially on these weekends right after Shabbat, because I usually have a lot of things that I'm doing. Um, just had a couple of different um, phone calls earlier on the continent, and a lot of things on the continent that honestly are still kind of up in the air because really these types of situations that occur, well, I know it's the Most High moving, but it does not it doesn't make things any easier. Let's just put it that way. So there will be a time that things may get back to. I'm not going to say may get back to normal. I believe that this is kind of whatever we want to call it, the quote unquote new normal. But there's a reason for that new normal or that level of normal not being the way that we think it would occur. And so, what I wanted to share, because this was in my spirit, as we were, as we're seeing a lot of things occurring, and hopefully you all can hear me. My internet is running low. I apologize for that. There's a couple things in the background, but it always runs low when it's on the weekend. So please have patience with me. You know, folks are home and folks are doing things. But I wanted to really come on in here and kind of discuss what is being seen and why is it being seen and what that truly means here in the next couple of, I would say, days, maybe even weeks, months, and potentially years. And so, in doing so, I'm going to go ahead if I can do this. Yeah, my internet is really weak. This is crazy. So I'm going to shut this down. All right, sorry, fam. I have a lot of things going on in the background, and my internet is not looking too hot. I'm telling you, ever since I came back from the continent, something has been off with this laptop. I pray that it's not compromised. Of course, first trip to Ghana and issues. But I guess that's my fault. I get what I get, unfortunately. Yeah, there are reasons why, you get what you pay for, and then in the long run, it's going to cost you more. And I kind of hate those examples, but those are literally those examples, unfortunately. Wow. So sorry, family. Give me just a second so I can try to make sure this is even going to pan on out. Okay. Yep. Yeah, now it's doing it. I had to close a few things in the background. Oh man. We're if you notice, we're definitely not at that level anymore of, I guess the best way to put it is infrastructure level. The internet is messing up. And I'm gonna tell you why the internet is messing up. The internet is messing up because they're scanning more. They're they're actively scanning more in our environment of a police state that we're in. You all did not realize what was happening because they're not going to tell you what's happening with the whole Palantir. They're not going to tell you what's happening with AI and things of that nature. And from their perspective, is why would they tell you? And they wouldn't tell you because they'd say it'd be a matter of national security. But besides that point, there's a couple things that I wanted to put on up here. Give me just a second. Let's see this. Because I'm gonna be on here for a few. That's why I came on up here. I got it. Yeah, to let me say 150 is my hard stop because I got to get to a meeting at 2 o'clock. That's kind of how this thing goes, and I may be interrupted a couple times because I do dedicate this time for my kids when they are reaching on out. Okay. So I have the StreamYard there. So as bringing up these articles, and I'm not going to entertain any type of foolishness for any type of pan anything to do with anything other than the Most High's word. It's that simple. I want to start off with Jamaica. And what I was looking at, one of the channels that I like to look at is Weatherman, and to me, he does a really good job of Mr. Weatherman. He does a really good job of the forecast. But today, this morning, and this is also something that the Weather Channel has. I want to bring the Weather Channel up in just a second. But right now, Jamaica is under extreme threat. And when I say extreme threat, we're talking about wind gust of 180 on the. No, I'm not related. I'm not related, Tony. That'll be interesting. But let me go ahead. I want to share this. Before I do, let me go ahead and pin this conversation. Give me just a second, family. There we go. I have the StreamYard pinned for anybody. Okay. So going back to, let me get this on up here. Yeah, sorry, family. I'm a little bit of sorts and rough because, again, this is my time. I usually kind of do a good system reset with everything, and I had a lot of stuff that's going on. I still have things that's going on. Hopefully, y'all can see the chat or this right here. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get dinged. This is a weather channel, so I don't know what may happen, but I'm going to give you what they have, the latest in their forecast. And let's play. Got to add first, of course. All right, so hopefully you're able to see that, and I need to mute this because if not, then they'll ding everything. I don't get really actually I don't get any revenues from these videos just because I'm just getting sick and tired of revenue ad sharing stuff that I don't. So let me go ahead.
Population of 2.8 million people. You've got 4.5 billion people that visit each and every year.
All right. Is everybody able to listen? Can everybody hear that? Give me a 1. If you're able to hear the Weather Channel. Let me do this.
There's Melissa. Now, in Jamaica, you've got a population of 2.8 million people. You've got 4.5 billion people that visit each and every year. The next visitor may be Melissa. Within 24 hours, 48 hours, you're going to be moving through not only Jamaica, but well into next week, moving to Cuba, affecting parts of Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and then on it goes up towards the Turks and Caicos. But right now, winds are 140 miles per hour. It has doubled in strength from yesterday. The path we expect it to take will be that westerly jaunt. Then it will drive its way through Jamaica, up through Cuba, and then possibly again through Haiti and then to the Turks and Caicos. The rainfall could be diabolical in terms of the amount. Some locations near Kingston could be 18 to 24. Any familiarity with Jamaica, you know that there is some high elevations and peaks topping 10,000 feet. With that happening, the rainfall will be exacerbated. Orographic lift will play a huge role in it. Same holds true for portions of Haiti and also into eastern Cuba. So it is going to be possibly just a humanitarian nightmare in terms of what we can expect. And the weather playing out through Wednesday, as we mentioned, catastrophic potentially.
This tree.
So I pray that we all understand what is happening on out there. Sometimes you gotta, as Brother Dante would say, you have to get it from the white pill bottle. But in doing so, obviously the Weather Channel has to kind of keep things in a much more positive vein than what you would see. Well, Brother Morvan, I pray that you are hunkered down. And you know, I've only been to Jamaica once, but all I know is this. You have a lot of mountains in Jamaica. You have a main mountain range in Jamaica. And you're going to have a ton of rain on that mountain range. Not only that, that hurricane is probably just going to buzzsaw through a lot of places. Now, the reason I'm going to tell you this, I had a concern in my spirit because remember, in our captivity, when as the Most High is judging these nations, understand these nations actually mean even where we have been scattered to the four corners of this earth. Now they want us to play along with their interpretation of, well, this is your land, this is, you know, this is yours, this is this is that, right? They always want to give us the simple, you did not get brought over here by slave trade. You did not get over here or get brought over here by boat. Why would they say that? Well, they say that because what they're trying to do, they're trying to negate prophecy. They're trying to negate what had happened, because if you do not know history, then you will not understand how the Most High is getting ready to judge these nations. And then as the Most High judges these nations, then you will start to understand, oh, well, there's a reason for it. Look, everything that we're saying, nothing's failed. Does the Most High take his time in delivering that? Absolutely, he does. But nothing's failed. Do we get tried? Do we get tested during these times of testing as the Most High's judging? Absolutely. But nothing's failed. Now, the problem is that now that we're getting ready to see a nation that is about to get basically wiped. And that's why, look, I'm praying for our family and our friends over in Jamaica. We're praying for them. I'm here in Florida. I'm okay. But I want us to realize what is going on and why this is so significant, because let me go ahead and break this down. This is let me change this screen. This was from a class not farewell symposium. This is from a Governor Andrew Bailey reflecting on the reforms made at the 2008 financial crisis. And it looks like he's currently the governor of the Bank of England. Oh, yeah. Sister Nikisha, yes. That is one of the main places getting hit. So we're praying for your family. So basically, in this speech, this is October 3rd, and the governor is basically highlighting that there are going to be different pressures, and lo and behold, about 2 to 3 weeks later, you then now had issues with the euro and the pound. But the problem is everything that he's saying in this, you don't have to worry about this. You don't, and then a couple weeks later, everybody's worrying about a financial crisis happening in Europe. Bank of England warns First Brands and Tricolor collapses. May signal deeper financial risk. So you just saw what he was saying from the Bank of England, from their little website. And now you're looking at Yahoo Finance, and Bank of England warns First Brands and Tricolor collapses may signal deeper financial risk. Governor Andrew Bailey flags the return of slicing and dicing of complex loan structures as a trigger for concern among regulators. But he had just said in a speech a couple of weeks ago, everything was fine. We just saw that speech. We were just looking at that. Now let me give you the link to this one. For any of our Brits in the house that's able to legally talk without fear of retribution, you may want to, hide your voice and, change your use some sort of a pen or pseudonym. The governor of Bank of England has warned that the recent collapse of two U.S. private credit-backed companies could signal broader risk across opaque and highly leveraged corners of the financial system, echoing concerns that preceded the 2008 crisis. Sorry, give me just a second. As I was saying, I may be getting some phone calls. Sorry. Just a second. Okay, sorry about that. Like I said, usually I have my kids calling me this time of the day. But going back to the story, so what is ending up happening is that you're starting to see banks on the verge of major collapse, major issues. Some shares of some U.S. banks have already fallen in exposure to the defaults. The problem is that this is the UK, but the UK doesn't really want to brand itself. And also, they're hurting too. Now, stay with me now, because understand that all of these things that they have done, all of these leverages and everything else to fund a war over in Ukraine, the proverbial cows coming home to roost is in effect happening right now. And the reason that I say it's happening right now is because, again, Jamaica is a major exporter of certain goods and materials and services. The chicken's coming home to roost. The cow's coming back to the pasture. Absolutely. So now, at a time where you just had a bailout for Argentina last week, you named it, Garth. I need my Appleton. I need that spicy rum. I need that smooth rum. I got. I need that rum. I got to make some rum cakes for Christmas. I know a lot. I know you all understand what I'm talking about. So imagine that. Understand that will be one of the first places they're gonna try and up and get those distilleries going, of course. And you're right, William. That was the key fuel for the transatlantic slave trade. Have you noticed that this storm, 400, they said 400 miles, 400 miles, that eclipses the state of Florida, just about from end to end. From top to bottom, end to end. Now, understand, this isn't a hurricane where Melissa is a straight party time, okay? This is not Jamaica funk, where it's headed for Jamaica in that aspect. This is a Jamaica target where Jamaica's not going to be the same. That hook line is going to be there will be no more Jamaica. Because why? Now, understand where I'm coming from with this. You don't have a government here in the United States that's functioning. You don't have any aid organizations that's able to distribute funds. You don't have the same type of infrastructure here in the United States to provide that type of support because, technically speaking, you don't have any type of congressional actions going on, for lack of better terms. So understand that when we have these Monroe doctrines, when we've had all of these different doctrines that have sponsored how we, I would say we as in the United States, directs, controls, and manages the Caribbean, which it does. Don't get it twisted. It does. You see that example right now with Southcom. You see that example right now with Venezuela. The question in my mind is going to be, where would that aid come from? Would it come from CARICOM? Would it come from Africa? Because I'm going to tell you this right now. The way I see it, the way that it was hitting me was, you're going to have a lot of people with roads, with infrastructure issues. And guess what? Those places will have to be abandoned. Now they're going to try their best to say that aid is going to come. They're going to look at this for the next couple of months, probably a year, but then they'll start to understand nothing's really going to end up happening because the only thing that's traversing now the waters of the Caribbean are going to be U.S. warships. As we have the Gerald R. Ford getting ready to enter the Caribbean Sea. And you know what's going to end up happening once they enter the Caribbean Sea, probably sometime in the next, I would say, 24 to 36 hours. Then you're going to start to see a lot of things ratcheting up in the Caribbean. I believe that that will be the case too. Yes, China will help rebuild Jamaica. However, that is going to be too hot. Especially if you have in the Caribbean Sea an active military presence. I would say under normal circumstances, yeah, they would help rebuild. This will not be a normal circumstance, especially as you're getting ready to have other missiles launched. And understand that during war, everybody likes to test out a capability or two just to make sure that they can see and determine and understand how they are able to have maneuverability. And just like you had in the case of last week in that protest on I 5 in California, when you had a sea to land firing exercise where shrapnel from exploded ordnance had deviated and had hit patrol cars. Imagine if that had hit a person. And imagine if it did hit a person. Do you think that we'd actually hear about it? No. Because why? Because everything is controlled by the Pentagon press corps, which has now been decimated. Because why? Because now you don't have that freedom of information like you used to. Now, I would say this is kind of the coldest thing. Bear this in mind. I would say that the U.S. would go there not to help. They'll call it a humanitarian mission of sorts. But that would be, in my opinion, the perfect staging ground for an operation. So, if you were to follow me, there's Jamaica. And not too far away, every 100 miles is about around an inch and a half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So maybe less than 1,000 miles away, you would be able to have some sort of a platform that would then be able to reach Venezuela and still be able to provide some sort of cover. Now, don't get it wrong. You still have a lot of these islands here of Aruba, Curacao, Grenada. There's also Trinidad and Tobago. I think my screen crashed, or I crashed. Yep, my browser crashed. Oh, wow, this is crashing in the worst way. Oh, man. Yeah, my screen is crashing in the worst way. I have never seen this thing happen like this. All right, give me a couple minutes, family, just a second. Okay, can you all hear me? Give me one if you can hear me. Yeah. Oh my goodness. My whole my whole browser had crashed. I knew I was having some problems. But man, yeah, I think they got me when I went to Ghana. Got Google's browser, my little Chrome thing was just flashing like it was going crazy. Yeah, I never had anything like that happen, and then that happened. Unreal. Mm, mm, mm. It's real up in here. I'm telling you. We may not think that we have an impact, but we truly do. My goodness. Well, I tried to put Google Maps on out there, and I guess whoever is, in my environment did not like that I put the Google Maps on out there to show what that looks like. All right, thank you, Mac, for the gift. I definitely appreciate it. Hallelujah. Why is this all important? Now, as much as they always try to say they're going to go to Iran and this and that, to me, I see things a little bit differently. Yeah, will they probably fight Iran again? Kind of, sort of, but not the way that you think. To me, I think that they already proved what they could handle. And then from there, they're now having to figure on out what their next play is. Now, they want oil. That's definitely the case. They want oil. But like I had said on this channel a couple of times, when a place is dying, especially not just a nation, we're not talking about a nation that's dying. We're actually talking about an empire that's dying. We're talking about an actual empire. You may have a couple of different, you know, and nations with but the empire is empire nonetheless. In this last iteration, of Babylon, which happened to be Rome, and those Roman, I would say, states. You now have a situation where Rome is not necessarily the Rome that it was going to be in the word, but it had the same characteristics. That's what literally Daniel was saying. You heard that, and even Ezekiel, even heard that in John. This is their last bit of control. NPSM 7, are you a Christian? What type of an American are you? Do you serve Baal? That's literally what it is. Are you serving Baal? And I had to laugh because a couple of days ago I was thinking about that. It's the same thing. These folks are going to start going crazy. We weren't supposed to be at war. No, this was a president of peace. You saw the peace deal. We weren't supposed to have this or have that. I'm telling you. To me, it looks as though they're going to, number one, see what they can get away with. If it gets too bad, then probably supply like some sort of a stipend or a subsidy to hold things over if it gets too bad. Let me see if I can play this. Give me a second, family. Let me make sure that I can do this because I'm going to tell you, buckle up because here it comes.
The strategic forces are capable of ensuring the national security of the Russian Federation and the Union State. In full measure, and we have already talked about this is a fact well known to everyone, to all specialists in the military world. The so-called modernity of our armed forces, or rather our nuclear deterrence forces, is at the highest level. One can say without any exaggeration that it is at a higher level than, at the very least, all other nuclear powers. Now, with regard to the exercise that was conducted recently, I asked the Chief of the General Staff to report on one more event. Seyito of Osis. I briefly mentioned it in my opening remarks. I'm referring to the test of the Burevestnik cruise missile with a nuclear power unit and unlimited range. I don't know what... I have a report both from the industry side and in general the well-known assessments from the Ministry of Defense. After all, this is a unique product that no one else in the world possesses. Moreover, I remember very well when we announced that we were developing such a weapon. Even then, specialists of a very high level and class told me that yes, goal is good, worthy, but in the foreseeable historical future, it is unachievable. That was the opinion of specialists, I repeat, of the highest class. And now the decisive tests have been completed. There is still a lot of work ahead. In order to place this weapon on duty, absolutely all the regulations need to be fulfilled. But nevertheless, the key objectives have now been achieved as far as I understand, and I would like to hear the opinion of the Chief of the General Staff.
Comrade Kamil Ivanovich, such a test was conducted on October 21st. Indeed, what set it apart from previous tests was that the missile completed a multi-hour flight during which it covered a distance of 14,000 kilometers.
Let me say that. No. It's AI. Yeah, it's AI. It's AI. But the reality is this is all being reported to other systems. It's just that we get a chance to have AI because it's in English. This is the same reporting you'll see at War News, you'll see at Hal Turner, you'll see at Marfugel and other places. Let me run that back.
The test was conducted on October 21st. Indeed, what set it apart from previous tests was that the missile completed a multi-hour flight during which it covered a distance of 14,000 kilometers. And that's not the limit. On a
nuclear installation.
On a nuclear installation, yes. And so the
14-hour flight, and that is not the limit. No, them being dressed in fatigues, that's not AI. This was the Burif Chev. Let me make sure I'm sounding this out correctly. Burevestnik missile. Let me go ahead. I'll give you this for veracity of reporting. No, Putin is not up there as a Master P in his General Silk the Shocker. They're not any no-limit missile soldiers. They're not making Berezniks launch like this. Remember, make launch. Remember, make launch. They're not having ghetto missiles. They said they put a launcher with a nuclear engine in the back. They put the warhead because it's stacked. They flew it around till it smacked. Dab on the target. Where's it at? They said anywhere. They don't care. All they know is that thing shoots like a flare. This was not an AI. That was not an AI transcript. Oh, ghetto missiles. No Master P fans. I take it. Maybe make missiles like this. Oh yeah, no. Paul hunkered down. Paul said, "I'm done. It's over with. I'm done." I laugh, but it's really not funny. Let me give you this. So now you see Russia has tested a new nuclear capable missile. Putin and top general say, let me put this back. A video released by the Kremlin showed Putin dressed in camouflage fatigues receiving a report from General Valery Gerasimov, Russia's chief of general staff, who told the Russian leader that the Bereznik covered 14,000 kilometers in a key test Tuesday. Gerasimov said that the Berevesnek, or Storm Petrel in Russian, spent 15 hours in the air on nuclear power, adding, "That's not the limit." I think Russia hit them with the Master P. They said it's no limit rockets. It's a no limit rocket production. It's not funny what they are saying. With guaranteed accuracy against highly protected targets. Strike first, strike fast. They better make their strike count. Because in my opinion, the U.S. only has one shot at this. One shot. And then you have a missile that can just be dancing around. That thing will just do a couple flybys. Shoo, there it goes. Shoo, there it goes. Shoo. What? What? Do y'all not see what they just said in this? Let me replay this for you all so you all can get, so you all understand what.
But nevertheless, the key objectives have now been achieved as far as I understand, and I would like to hear the opinion of the Chief of the General Staff.
Comrade Likomil Ivanovich, such a test was conducted on October 21st. Indeed, what set it apart from previous tests was that the missile completed a multi-hour flight during which it covered a distance of 14,000 kilometers. And that's not the limit on a
nuclear installation.
Look at Putin's face. Let me get that for you in real time because I want you to look at Putin's face on this. Because Putin's like, told y'all.
14,000 kilometers. And that's not the limit on.
He said, and that's not the limit. Look at Putin's face right there. His face is saying, do we have a problem? Putin's giving him the straight low dog face. He's giving them the straight pull up if you want to face. No, that is not AI translation. Exactly, Sister Pamela. His face is saying, try me if you want to. Try it. Man. Oh. Yeah. Look. What? Do you know how scary that is? That if you can manipulate the missile going up, going down, circling. Look, we're gonna fire this missile. I'm only gonna give you 12 hours. You saw that? You saw that? Woo! Missile going up, missile going down, missile circling. Which way is it going? Which way is it going? Gotcha. Uh, My question is, what's gonna happen next? Because clearly now you have to take everything that Russia says seriously and with a grain. It's not a grain of salt. You have to take it now seriously. That's a serious provocation. And now what that does is, did that catch the U.S. flat-footed? It said it had no limit. And then you put some Oreshniks on that bad boy. That thing is traveling at hypersonic speeds. What does that mean now for any negotiations? There's no negotiations. Now you start to see, okay, they either call or they're striking. The U.S.'s position is they either call to try to sit this thing out or they're striking. And you have to remember, the U.S. ain't in charge of this. They're going to strike. It could cover a significant portion of the U.S. Yeah, it could lap the U.S. there and back. And that's just literally what it demonstrated. It could still go. That thing is nuclear powered. This, to me, is why I don't believe you're going to have any negotiations with the whole food stamp issue. This, to me, is why they will not mind any type of controlled chaos here in the United States. Especially when it's coming from our people saying some crazy stuff of, well, we're going to go to Walmart and I'm going to get my stuff and nobody's going to stop me. They want you to concentrate on that. Because to me, to be quite honest, what really stops Russia? And now you have a range that Russia could set that thing up in the middle of Siberia, and shoot off in both directions. Well, Yakoba, you tried to warn them, Yakoba. Tell you and Yakoba, you tried to warn them. Boy, just let that digest. Let that sink in. Because that's exactly what Putin said. Try it. We go to our oldie but goodie. Jeremiah 50. The word that Yahuwah spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not, since Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. Why is that? We're now seeing it. In those days and in that time, saith Yahuwah. What days? In those days. Which days are these? I believe that these are the days. Because why? Because we're still in captivity. Because why? Because we're still scattered to the four corners of this earth. Why? Because the two sticks are coming together. The two sticks are talking. The two sticks are working. That was my morning this morning. That's what I do with the discussions that I do here in the background. They know that we're coming back. I asked a simple question today. I said, yeah, things are going. However, we're still working on some of the things because there are issues that we have here in the United States. And what I'm doing, yes, we have issues because of different things going on in the United States. It doesn't derail it. It just means that we have to be a lot more creative. And so as I was speaking to this person, very, very high level person, he says, I understand what's going on. However, the people in his community do not. He says, look, they just think about what's going on within their area. They're not thinking about this. It doesn't affect them. This matter affects us. All they know is when we're done going through what we need to go through, are we ready to come back and work with our brothers and sisters there on the ground in the continent? Are we ready to flow together as a people, just like the word said? Are we ready to finally shake off that Babylonian funk and be able to engage with our brothers and sisters? You all see this? These folks are literally in line saying, I never thought that I would have to come here. Let me show you this. Because I'm going to tell you this. A couple of years ago, let me see if I can get this playing again. And I have that in the chat. Federal workers flock to D.C. food banks as they miss first full paycheck of shutdown. Whether working or not, most federal employees have not been paid. People are living from paycheck to paycheck, trying to figure out how to feed themselves, one told NBC News. Let's go here.
DC, this food bank in Southeast DC, this food bank line just for federal workers.
You have to have your government ID.
Stretches around the block. Many furloughed federal employees like Anthony Spite now waiting hours for help.
I have children to feed, I have a family to take care of, I have a mortgage to pay. So it's a lot of uncertainty.
The Bipartisan Policy Center reports 1.4 million civilian federal employees like Spite did not get paid today.
I never thought that I would be in this predicament where I'm in need of assistance.
Under a 2019 law, federal workers will be reimbursed at the end of the government shutdown. But that help could still be a long way away, with Congress not in session.
How does it make you feel that members of Congress are still getting a paycheck right now?
You know, if we're not getting paid, I honestly feel that their checks should be withheld as well.
And as food banks face an influx of federal workers,
it's scary.
The clock is ticking for millions more.
With the shutdown, I believe that we'll get double the amount, maybe even triple the amount that we see now.
Federal funding.
Do you know who is the largest employers of so-called African Americans in this country? What organization is the largest employers of so-called African Americans in this country? That's us. That's the feds, exactly. The federal government employs us. You know, for the longest time, that was what my parents, what my aunts and uncles, what my cousins would say. Karis, you need to do federal work. I have family members that work for the federal government. And I can only imagine what they're going through. See, I don't know what else could be said to our people, but I told you, Most High's not playing anymore. There's no more talk. You can't say anything to our people anymore. The prophets of Baal have spoken. And now it's the Most High's turn. Have you noticed that? Now it's the Most High's turn. The prophets of Baal have spoken. They spoke about their rapture. They spoke about escapism. They spoke about, well, if it's not this day, then it's going to be this day, and then it's going to be this day. You only had 2 tries. They're mad because they're not escaping judgment. They're mad because this is what judgment looks like. They're mad because they think that as a dying place, which it is, it's dying, that they would be able to escape this judgment. I'm pretty sure that the Most High probably has the same smirk that Putin has on his face. Like, you think you're going to escape this judgment? You think you're going to get raptured? Nah, homie, guess again. Guess again, my friend. And now they would have a missile. Let's go back into Jeremiah. Let's come back. Jeremiah 50. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. What? They're trying to do what? They're trying to take their stuff. They're trying to take their pets. Man, let me look at these pet policies. What can I take my dog with me to the refugee displacement camp? Do I need to get my support animal papers verified? Do I need to get it said both man and beast? That's interesting because even now we have to buy beef from what? From Argentina? Oh my goodness. And the farmers were mad about that. The ranchers were mad about, oh my goodness. We're almost to this point. Jeremiah 50, verse 4. We're almost to this point. In those days and at that time, and in that time, saith Yahuwah, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek Yahuwah, their Elohim. Why is that? Here we go.
Programs like SNAP and WIC in danger of running dry by the end of the month.
To last all the way for the next month, even to cover December, it won't. We will be starving. Starving.
Our NBC affiliate
We will be starving.
Mm. In those days and in that time, saith Yahuwah, the children of Israel shall come and the children of Judah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek Yahuwah, their Elohim. In those days, in that time, well, no, the Most High's word instructs us to go and seek Him. See, that has been our problem all along. And I get it. And I understand our people are going to be stiff necked. Guess what? There are some folks that's going to suffer through this judgment. There are some folks that's not going to make it. And there are people that are here designed to ensure that our people die in this judgment. Isn't that sad? They're here in this matrix under the design of this enemy. Because why? Because they don't want you to make it. They've already sold their soul. They know. Well, I had my time here, and now I'm just trying to collect all the souls that I can. That's not what the word says. The word says that the Most High's children, all those that call on His name. See, I don't know about a lot of these folks here in the chat, but what I do know is it's the Most High's word that never fails. They can have their own spin. Because now we're about to be in this time, because when people start to go hungry, oh, they start to have that major inflection point. Father, how could you fail us? Father, how could you do this? Father, how could they start to have an inflection point, and then they start to realize Most High never fails. Father, what are we going through, and how are we going to be delivered from it? Because you don't fail. Father, thank you for your plan. And Father, I thank you that you're giving me the understanding of obedience. See, our people will start to come through and say, you know what, Father, help me to stay on the path that preserves me as I'm seeing others fall. This is going to be a major test. This is the test. I don't care how you say it. We're getting ready to take the test. We're in the time of testing. You've gone through, you've gotten the practical understanding, you learned the word, you learned the prophecies, and now you are learning how to step in that understanding and move as the Most High has you move, and then be able to say, Father, I thank you even in the times that I'm getting crushed, because I am now coming through this fire, whether it be literal or physical. This is the time of testing. And yep, as I'm seeing in the chats, this is exactly why the Most High has to do what he has to do. And I had to think about that also. I had to think about my children going through this test. I could prepare them as much as they had been prepared. Now it's time to have them work that out. They know their word. They know how the Most High operates. Jeremiah 50:5, they shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to Yahuwah in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. Why? Because all of a sudden, now these YouTube videos, a lot more are saying we're the people. A lot more are saying, oh, I think that we've been lied to. This is coming from the Gentiles. Told you, the Gentile awakening is here. We're in that season, and now they're in that judgment. Their awakening was always going to be that judgment season. Why? Because they weren't going to be able to understand until they felt it. That's just how it went. They weren't going to be able to put two and two together until it began to hurt their pockets. And now that it's hurting their pockets, now they're starting to reevaluate. Oh, I think everything is lied to me. I think someone's lying. I think that that this and that, and it may not be this, and you know, I think that, and then they're trying to have their own sort of spiritual, ethereal interpretation, which always fails. It always fails. Because why? Because when you have to recognize the word and you have to recognize how the Most High does not lie, and you have to recognize that the Most High's word is going to do all that it says that it will do and accomplish everything that it says it's going to accomplish, because his word never returns void. So they'll try to put a spin on that. Well, I mean, and I think that it's a quantum and blah, blah, blah. They just totally go off the deep end. We've seen that happen even here in this community multiple times because they short circuit. Johnny Five is not alive in that case. They have a spiritual short circuit. Oh. Wait a second. They know what the word says. By this time, I'm going to say at least 90% of the people in America know what the word says. Because why? Because we've been on up here saying this for years. We have exposed this for years. We have been talking about this. And now, look, a couple years ago, it wasn't just talking. It was now beginning the planning to move, as the Most High had allowed others to do work. Because now we would have to come together. What does it say? Come and let us join ourselves to Yahuwah in a perpetual covenant. Then he said that the Most High said he's just going to smash us all together. The Most High said he's going to ground us all together. No, the Most High gives us the choice to do. Oh, I know. People don't like that. Well, I mean, I thought the Most High was just gonna, take care of everything for me, and I just had to, sit here and sit and sit and sit and sit. No, you actually have to do. There was always a do component, and I know people hate that. I got to do something. Yes, you do. Yahusha just wasn't showing up to people and do miracles. You know what? Something told me that I need to show up at your home and perform a miracle. No. No. People had to go and chase him down and go and see him and go and touch and go and get the healing. Master, I have somebody sick at home. Can you please say a word so they can get sick or they can be healed? And now here we are at this time. We've said our piece. But all I know is there's so much food on the continent, it's not even funny. They don't have a problem with food, with the availability of food. They just have a problem of processing the food. That's a good problem to have, since a lot of us know how to, let's get this thing started, let's get this thing moving, and let's do this and this and this and this and this. Simple. We can have it up and running in 30 days. A lot of us, we can do that. We just need to have some trucks. We need to just have some raw services. We can just need to have some cans. We can fabricate the cans from here. We get the metal from there. We get this from that. We can process the oil here. We can process the food here. We can get this food right there. Why is that? Because we have a lot of our people that have been lost. Jeremiah 50:6, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. They forgot Yahuwah. They were given an image, but that was not the real thing. That's why our people, they're trying their best to be extra faithful. They're trying the best. Oh, no, I can't. It's not a strange Elohim. It's not a foreign Elohim. That's the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Elohim of Israel. That's the Elohim of our forefathers. Their Elohim is not able to do anything for their people. For a time, the Most High, he winked. He turned away. They could do whatever they want to. They were allowed to. Notice they're not allowed to do what they want to do. Notice they're not allowed to take out the shepherds anymore. And now look at Europe. Look at France. Look at the UK. We got to do digital ID. Why is that? Because they're about to starve. And so they want to control the resources. So only those that they deem as true to the system. And you want to know who's going to be true to the system. We already know who's going to be those folks true to the system. Will then be deemed able to, quote unquote, be able to have the resources in a very resource constraint reality. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahuwah, the habitation of justice, even Yahuwah, the hope of their fathers. Isn't that what they say now? We don't offend. We can do all this. Everything that they are doing, the Most High seeing. Everything that they have done, now the nations are seeing. Have you noticed that? Now that they don't want to show anything, they're now afraid to show their history. It's your history. Shouldn't you be proud of your history? I thought that they were proud of their forefathers. Oh, but they want to give their own narrative and not the truth. That's what they hate. And now these other nations are seeing that. I thought that was interesting. Right after Korea, the incident with the Korean plant in Georgia, the Hyundai plant, it was amazing that all of a sudden you heard the Asian community talk about racism. Oh my goodness, what? What? Well, and this is coming from their mouths, paraphrasing. Well, we're just going to have to undo the system of global white supremacy. What? Oh, you know what that means? That means that this place took it way too far. Told you. See, we had said this for years, especially on this channel. Okay? What they do to us, hey, that's okay. They can do that to us. They can practice as much racism and white supremacy on us. We're the victuals. We had been under the curse. But when they think that what they can do to us, that they can do to the other nations, that's when they're in trouble. And now they're in trouble. Now these other nations are seeing, and these other nations are saying, and they're responding. And it's not in a good way. We need black people to sell the image again. Nope. Come on, don't do us like that. Come on, you know we love you. Come on, you know how it is. Come on now. Come on, just go on up there and perform. Just go on up there and say your line. Just say that you love America and that this is the greatest place and that it's gonna be here forever. I'm sorry, I can't lie for you anymore. Cut the commercial. Cut the commercial. Beep. We've had some technical difficulties. This is what Americans have in some technical difficulties. And let me finish this up because this is the cornerstone I wanted to show here. Jeremiah 50:8, remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of Chaldeans and be as the he-goats before the flocks. Why? I do believe that we're getting to this time. There's a time here. I want to bring this on up. I didn't say Yakoba enough because I'm going to have to get off of here in a couple minutes. Maybe Yakoba will be on. But I believe that there is a process here that when you start in Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 4, in those days and in that time, number one, the children of Israel and Judah, they seek the Most High weeping. And number two, they seek the Most High weeping, and then they remember the covenant of the Most High. Number three, they recognize who has been leading them astray, And now they're realizing that they need to set their face on the truth and where that truth is at. Number 4, they're understanding how they have been devoured. So now they're able to pray against those that have continued to devour them. Number 5, they're spiritually removing themselves out of Babylon, because once they're out of Babylon, once they're out of the mist, that's when judgment can happen. See, to me, the reason why this is very concerning is that in this time, they don't have us layered as a protection mechanism. See, in that protection mechanism, it wasn't just about being in proximity. What this was actually about is that we would be a people that continued to shield them with our bodies, literally and figuratively. That we would still be the Stephen of sorts in Django. That we would be the we sick boss. You sick, we sick boss. Man, boss, I feel something too. What have they said? They can't trust us anymore. Why is that? Because we've been calling out what the word has said that was happening to them. And they hated that. We would have healed Babylon. Why? They didn't want to listen to the truth. They didn't want to listen to the truth, and they loved the lie, and that lie is now destroying them. And now, once we have been removed, now you understand there's the cause and now the effect of that cause. Because this is now what the Most High says. For lo, basically, the effect. Because I'm going to cause you to do what? To do this, to do that. Why? Because we will be guided to do those 5 conditions that I just listed. Once those 5 conditions have been met, then the Most High says, okay, now here is going to be what precipitates. Here is what will happen when these conditions have been met. For lo, who's I, Yahuwah, will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. No, the Most High, he has been doing this through other mechanisms, i.e., bricks. So they are now raising up Because why? Because now, well, you know what? We can do this trade deal. We could do this. We could do that. What happened to those 100 trade deals in 100 days? And then come to find out, none of that actually happened. Because now people have been saying, you know what? I'm tired of actually being set up. I'm done with that. Let me get back into here. Now, there's an issue that goes on with this particular judgment, which is getting ready to happen. Pay attention. For lo, I'll raise in cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. They're setting themselves. Their arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. None shall return in vain. We're now here at a precipice. This is an inflection point for Babylon. We could go on and on. But the face on Putin says it all. Do we have a problem? Putin's face says it all. Do we have a problem? He's giving them literally the lope dog. Let me put this on back.
And I would like to hear the opinion of the Chief of the General Staff.
Comrade Likomil Ivanovich, such a test was conducted on October 21st. Indeed, what set it apart from previous tests was that the missile completed a multi-hour flight during which it covered a distance of 14,000 kilometers. And that's not the limit.
And that's not the limit. Look, I can only imagine from what they're seeing on this side of prophecy. For them, it's we just need to chill. Most High's already given them into our hands. Now you have our people getting ready to cry out. Now, again, I told you the worst thing that they want to have happen is that they don't want us to cry out. That's the worst thing. That they don't. As a people, because they know. And Chaldea shall be for spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahuwah. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage. Because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. Wow. Yeah, we need our brothers and our sisters not just crying out from Africa, but crying out worldwide. Cynthia, I would not suggest it because you have a lot of people that do they do nefarious things. Nobody wants to hear this message. This message of the Most High doing what the Most High said he was going to do. And now, as these nations have rejected this place, and again, their vote was with their dollars. When people are saying, well, what's going on? This was happening literally July, August, and September. People weren't buying the bonds. It's easy to prop up a stock market. It's fake. It's the ones and zeros. And the funny thing is, I like to watch a channel. It's Jay Bravo, and he's a Caucasian person. You know, some of the things that I don't necessarily agree with, but he brings a lot of facts. And one fact that he showed was he was showing literally a wheel and spoke of a couple $1 trillion moving. You know what they were doing? They were just circulating that same $1 trillion amongst 7 different companies to support one company. It was literally just I would say, newfangled Ponzi scheme. You're not going to take your money out of that trillion because you don't have access to your money in those trillions. It's a Ponzi scheme. America's not getting any cash inflows. So if you don't get any cash inflows, guess what? You don't have any outflows. This is what's happening to this place right now. And if it can't get any cash inflows, guess what? It's got to go to war. It's got to go to war. It's not a question of if, it was when. For them, Venezuela is a low-hanging fruit. But then they'll have a problem because China and Russia had signed on to support Venezuela. So they're about to test it, and they're going to have to. Will they test that this week? I don't know. We'll see what they ratchet up tomorrow. They can't be doing that not on Sunday, not on church day. Oh, but on Monday they'll be coming. Oh, well, listen, this and this, and this and this and that, and we've had this and this. Oh, they'll be coming on up with the program. So it's about to start looking real crazy. And that's what I had on my spirit today, family. The Most High is still moving. We still serve an awesome Elohim. And he is good. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Yeah, that you all know that Charles West. Yes, peace and safety was definitely a lie. When they said that, oh boy. Our Canadian Israelite brother up north that does a lot of prepping. There it is. All right. Other than that, I gotta go. I got things to do. Please keep me up in your prayers, family. I have confirmed. I will be in New York in about in a couple weeks to work on some things. Oh, only gonna be there for a few days. So not just keep me up in prayer, man. Let's keep our family up in prayer in Jamaica. And I really pray that our brothers and sisters, that this will be what the Most High uses. Yes, brother Asaph, I had to do my dance. You know why, brother Asaph. You know why. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right, family. With that, I got to get up and out of here. You all be blessed. I'll see you on tomorrow when it's not so special report. That will be at 7. Excuse me, not 7. 6:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be, I don't know, fighting judgment, I guess. Hey, that's just how it goes, though. We're all in this, family. Everybody is. And let's continue to pray and support our brothers and sisters at this time. So with that said, family, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.